Parliamentary meeting to discuss the National Assembly's upcoming program has been hacked. The meeting was taking place via video conferencing app Zoom. Porn images and video appeared on the screen. So we understand that some racial slurs were also directed at Speaker Thandi Modise, who was chairing the meeting. Ian Lindsay Detlinger joins us now with the latest on those details. Lindsay, what happened today?
Morning, Faith. Well, I should firstly point out that this is really, if I can call it, a housekeeping meeting of Parliament. In the normal world, it would maybe carry on for maybe half an hour at most. It's really to determine Parliament's programme, to deal with deadlines, to look at the work of Parliament and how that's progressing. This is the second time that this meeting has been held since the pandemic broke out and parliamentarians are no longer allowed to travel to Cape Town, and it's the only meeting so far that Parliament has held on the Zoom platform. And today, when that meeting was scheduled to start promptly at 9 o'clock, as we know, Speaker Thandi Modise doesn't waste time, and she always starts on time. No sooner had the meeting begun and they were going to start dealing with the first agenda item, ironically brought by the DA's Natasha Mazzoni to discuss this very issue of Parliament doing business on a virtual platform, was the meeting hacked. And we saw pornographic images being displayed on screen, racial insults hurled at the speaker, and very quickly the meeting was shut down. Those who had joined on a virtual platform, that link just collapsed. And as we know, it was also being broadcast live on the Parliamentary channel, which was very quickly stopped until a new plan could be made, and about half an hour later, we were sent a new link to join that meeting.
So this throws a spanner in the works, doesn't it, Lindsay? Because Parliament, I mean, if we are accepting that we may be in this situation for quite some time to come, still, Parliament needs to get going. Parliament needs to be able to perform its functions of accountability. But if the platform that they are trying to use virtually is not secure, it really poses problems.
Indeed it does, Tulasizwe, and that's exactly what they've been discussing this morning. Speaker Thandi Modise saying the work of Parliament cannot grind to a halt because of this pandemic. Work needs to be done. There's a very urgent issue of dealing with the land question. We know that deadline now has to be moved out because public hearings cannot be held. There's also the important matter of going through the process of appointing a new Auditor General. His term comes to an end in November, and more importantly, holding the executive accountable. And to that end, over the last two meetings and under discussion again this morning, is how Parliament will hold a sitting of all 400 members so that they can pose questions to the executive. So there has been this debate about what platform they use. Up until now, we've seen most of the portfolio committee meetings using a Microsoft Teams platform, but that doesn't allow for vast numbers of people to join that meeting, and hence Parliament has also been toying with Zoom. But as we know, many issues have been raised around the world about the security of Zoom. We saw Minister Maiti and Kwana Mashabane had a meeting hacked. We know the UK Parliament has been hacked using the Zoom platform, and again Speaker Thandi Modise this morning at pains to express and saying this just proved all the reservations she's been having up until now, that she's skeptical about using this platform. Other members, Doris Lekude, the ANC Deputy Chief Whip, who was dialing in from a rural area with a very poor connection, saying up until now she's had very good experience with Zoom and found that it delivered a better quality of service. So really what the presiding officers of Parliament are dealing with right now is saying that they need to deal with the ICT issues. They are looking at a hybrid system, perhaps as soon as the 27th of May, to hold a question and answer session in Parliament, looking at a situation where they will have a certain number of MPs physically present in the House of Parliament. Those numbers still be worked out in terms of how they can also make allowance for social distancing, and other MPs would then dial in from a virtual platform. But as I say, what virtual platform do they use that will allow well a large number of participants. The EFF already indicating that they're not prepared to travel to Cape Town to come and sit in the House, and so they would want all their members to be able to join this meeting virtually. So really a conundrum for Parliament in dealing with what they do, not to grind the work of Parliament to a halt, but finding a suitable platform to enable it to do its work and to hold, more importantly, the executive to account, particularly now.
Sure. Wow. All right. Thank you for that. That's ENCA's Lindsay Dentlinger there. Well, there you have it. Extraordinary times. Pornography being shown during a meeting of Parliament. It's just, it's murky waters. What do you do? I saw the UK Parliament had a sitting that resembles to a certain degree what Lindsay is talking about there in terms of the hybrid model where some MPs are there, a few MPs, but it's really difficult.
It's not the same, and it's all about accountability, because at the end of the day, Parliament has got a responsibility to the citizens of South Africa, and just because we are under COVID-19 level 4 and lockdown, it does not mean the work stops, and the work shouldn't stop. But then what happens when you get hacked? Sure. Innovation at its finest. I think this now is the time more than ever to start looking at innovation, particularly in the South African 4IR. We keep speaking about it.
Fourth industry, yes, absolutely.